year?
I think we performed probably one of the most brutal and quick restructuring exercise, in the automotive industry the last 20 years. That's the reality. When you look at the numbers, the results were some of the best results we did in decades in a very complicated environment. We will enter 2023 with a good order bank and production available, etc. So we know that it's going to be continue to be complicated with inflation, energy pricing, and components, including semiconductors, etc. But we know how to manage that a little bit better. We are prudent, but at the same time also optimistic, because some of the products are coming now. The one that we started 2.5 years ago, they're coming into the market. So I think that Renault has the potential to be an anti-cyclical player in that case.
And a big strategic focus was looking at margins and improving margins away from volume. So of course now there's been the supply chain issues and you've been able to hike prices a little bit. So how much do you think you can keep on building on those margins? Because of course the momentum is kind of in your favor to a certain extent, but are you going to keep up with those margins?
Yeah, in general everybody says that, but one of the things that you don't have to forget is that we had to really go in a very heavy restructuring because of the crisis of Renault, 2019, 20, etc. And so we lowered down break-even by 50%. We cut production capacity by 1.2 million cars. We reduced fixed costs from 30%. So it's not only the price hike that helped us, but it's also the work that we did in the system. And in the meantime, what we were able to do is to actually invest in probably one of the best, product lineup that we ever had. So normally, when you have a fresh product, it helps you to sustain the price. So that's our bet in a very, let's say, complicated environment.
And one of the complicated elements, of course, the supply chain issues. How is that looking? Is that improving at all?
Actually, it's we think that on the semiconductor is going to continue to be, pretty much of a challenge for another couple of years, especially on the kind of semiconductors that we use in the automotive industry. So we probably lost like 300,000 cars for the different problems of, logistic and components in 2022. Maybe the number will be between 102 and 300 also this year. So it's going to stay there. But I think we are a little bit more prepared. We know how to find the parts and how to organize the production to keep doing it. But we have to recognize that this is not going to be, again, a normal year.
One of your key competitors, of course, on the electric side of things, of course, is Tesla, and they lowered their prices by almost 20%, including in Europe. How do you look at this? Is that bad news for you? Are you looking at lowering your prices as well? So how does that play into your own strategy?
We think that we structured and we based our production capacity on very prudent volume that we're doing for our electric car, namely the Megane. So we actually are filling the production capacity that we needed. And our priority will be to defend the value for the customer, because those kind of swings are, a kind of value destroying for the consumer. Think about residual value, etc. So I think we don't have to destroy the whole thing at the beginning, because electric cars are, ramping up in Europe. We need to have a healthy business. And so in the case of Renault, the last thing I'm going to do is to compromise on the margins, of electric cars, because it doesn't make sense in the long term. So this is, but we've seen competitors, moving price up and down, etc., etc. This is your decision, but I don't think it's a very healthy practice in the long term.